Up to Prof 1. Kalau start pun boleh kot. Nanti I record the whole session.
But you record
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Okay. So we're going to start now. Boleh? Hello people. Boleh. Okay. Nanti sekejap. Okay. Right. Dah record. Long. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Very good morning. We are going to go through today the rules and guidelines to the TPC for registration of estate agency practice. Registration for estate agency practice. Tajuk pun tak betul. Okay, how many of you actually have the intention to be only registered estate agent once you graduate? Before you make another decision to be a registered valuer, because your qualification is actually allows you to be registered valuer. With the registered valuer, you can actually apply for the 3 license together with estate agency and also the property management. But how many of you just would like to be estate agent sahaja? Chua, agak-agaknya.
Yes. Yeah.
You just want to concentrate on estate agency. So once graduate, you're going to be a PEA only, or do you have any intention to submit for PV, or just PEA?
Agency.
PEA saja. It's not a problem, tak jadi masalah, because you are qualified. It's not a problem. Chan Chisam. Chisam?
Yes, Prof.
Are you going to be just a PEA or are you going to be PV once you graduate?
I think I will to be a registered valuer, not agent.
Not agent. Okay. Swijong? Swijong?
Hi.
Hi. Are you going to be a PEA or are you going to be a PV? Sebelum jadi RV lah.
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Ada how many months more to go? Apa lagi? Kena decide dah, tak sampai 1 year pun. By the time habis kita punya pandemic COVID ni, you dah boleh pergi practical training.
Yeah, after practical training, then see which one is better for me.
You have to decide now, because practical training, during your practical training, then you need to emphasize on yang mana area yang you nak jadi.
Okay.
Hui Ming. Thank you, Swijong. Hui Ming, agak-agaknya nak jadi apa? PV? PA?
I think I will go for register valuer.
Okay, ladies typical dia akan jadi registered valuer lah biasanya lah. Nurul Ain'ni, agak-agaknya Nurul Ain'ni registered valuer. Izzat, you nak jadi registered valuer or you want to concentrate on estate agency or property manager? Nanti saya tanya next week. Izzat, atau dia hanya masuk dan hilangkan diri dia? Sutling, are you going to be a registered estate agent? Are you going to submit for PEA or are you going to submit for PV?
I'm going to submit for PV.
PV, okay. Saya dah tanya 2 ladies, so saya boleh buat conclusion. Saya suka buat conclusion cepat-cepat. Never mind, saya tanya lagi seorang. Neo Lik Guan. PV, PA. Mesti jawapan dia PV. Lik Guan. PV or PA? Lik Guan dah hilang. Lavinia. Okay, ada jawapan dekat situ. PV, we'll try. Okay lah. Boleh. Lavinia, are you going to be PV? Are you going to be PA?
PV.
PV. Okay. Adiba Suraya, are you here? Tukang supply semua soft copy yang buat salah ni. Adiba, not here. Shuzan?
Yes, Prof. PV, I think. Yeah, PV.
Lah, ladies jangan jadi PA. Jadi PV senang. Okay, never mind. Okay, now we go through how to be just a PEA, in this case no, REA, at the end after you have submitted your PEA, then you go for the TPC. Once you pass your TPC, then you can submit for you to get practice as a REA, registered estate agent. Okay, we're going to go through 6 matters: registered estate agent, the process, the professional experience, the work diary, practical tasks, and the professional interview. Okay, there are 3 main professions as governed by the board. Saya punya ni macam dia lari sikit lah, saya angkat sikit. Boleh nampak tak saya punya screen? Can you see? Okay, kita ada 3. As far as the Act is concerned, under Section 14 is very clear, the board shall keep and maintain a register of valuers, appraisers, estate agents, property managers. So kita ada 4 part, ya, 4 part. Betul Ikhwan? Ikhwan, are you here? Ikhwan? Mana Ikhwan? Tak ada. Ada 28 people saja. Ikhwan, are you here? No. Ahmad Nazri? Tak ada. Aswin tengah jalan, so tak dengar lah apa saya cakap. Afiq, are you here? Afiq Daniel? Okay, Widat. Widat?
Ya, Prof.
Okay, kita ada 4 parts.
Ada.
Valuers, appraiser part berapa? Apa tadi Ahmad Nazri? Valuers, appraiser part berapa? Hello? Ahmad Nazri? Tak ada. Afiq. Afiq ke yang jawab tadi? Afiq? Valuers and appraisers under which part? Part nombor berapa?
1.
Part 1 untuk valuers, part 2 untuk appraisers.
Ya.
Estate agent?
Part 3.
Part 3 and part 4 untuk property managers. These are the register. Register is like a book. It is a book of register where they kept all the information for all the registrants. Okay, so they have 4 parts and estate agents falls under part 3 of the register. Boleh faham? Okay, so who are the registered estate agent? If you can look here, a person, this is under the section 14, section 14 of the Act, semua the Act kan? Person whose name has been entered under part 3 of the register and to whom an authority to practice has been issued by the board. Okay, so dia bukan saja register, they have been issued and authority to practice. In the market now, it become a hoo-ha now, it become a hot issue discussed by most of the property surveyors in the WhatsApp group, in the IG group, because the latest circulars, the latest public notice published by the current new registrar has mentioned about the removal of not only the registered estate agent, registered valuer, but also the probationary members of PEA or PB or PM. Mainly because they fail to submit for the renewal and they fail to pay for the renewal fee. Previously, under the previous leadership of the president and the previous leadership of the registrar, what happened was the registrar will take action sometimes by December, because when you talk about license will automatically expire bila license akan expire. Yo, Kayun? When we say license akan expire bila? Kayun?
Yes, doctor.
Bila license expired? When we talk about license, any license, and regardless apa, bila kita kata lesen saja, bila kita kata license, they will expire bila? When? Kayun?
No idea.
No idea. Aswin, you pergi renew. Mana Aswin? You see here no? You pergi renew license apa Aswin? License kereta. License kereta. license, driving license. Okay, driving license expired dia bila? Birthday, itu yang baru ya. Sekarang now they go according to the birthday. Previously, when you talk about license, they will expire at the end of the calendar year. Meaning by 31st December, license akan expire. So in this case, for the practice, as an estate agent, also as a PEA, the practice will expire by end of the year. So the registrar usually will send out notice to all the registrants, both the REA and the PEA, to submit for renewal, for application for renewal and pay the fee. Bukan submit form saja, you need to pay to the system. By the end, by November, they will issue a notice. But the board has been very kind. They have actually extended the period for renewal until 30th April actually, until end of April. So by February, the registrar will issue another notice. Those who have yet to pay, please renew. So by March, they also send another notice. Those who have yet to pay, please renew. So by this year, by after 30th April, by mid of May, the registrar straight away publish in the public notice, meaning in the board punya website and also in the newspaper. All the names that have failed to pay and renew, they are now removed from the register. So when we say register, kita ada tadi register part 3. The register part 3 for the estate agent. And it become something like disturbing to all the professional practice because there are cases where they don't pay. And they say previously, the registrar called them personally. So this year, the registrar don't call them. But they forget, registrar has actually issued a number of notices asking them to pay. And they have actually been given an extension up to April, end of April to renew. And they have failed to pay. So siapa yang salah agak-agak dalam kes? Registrar is too brutal ke? Because she has go ahead and publish in the public notice, meaning newspaper. Or is the fault of the registrant in this case? Agak-agaknya, what's your opinion, Kayun? Agak-agaknya siapa yang salah? Kayun?
Maybe the people who didn't pay.
So it's the registrant who failed to pay. So is it the fault of the registrar? Because the previous registrar is very kind. She will make an attempt from herself and also few other board staff to call those who failed to pay after 30th April, asking them to pay within 2 weeks before she published a public notice. But what happened with the current new registrar, she don't call them. She don't ask the board staff to call. She just issue the circulars in February, in March, and you fail to pay by April. By May, she issue a public notice, meaning published in the newspaper. And if you practice, if the bank got to know about you are not renewing your practice, it become a problem because you are under the bank's panel. Right? So whose fault is that? Is it a problem of the registrar or is it a problem of the registrants? Suzanne?
I think registrant, because they should be aware of the date of the expiry and then they should renew.
Okay, they should aware of the expiry. It goes without saying. It ends until at the end of the calendar year. Only the driving license ends with your birthday. Kalau your driving license ends at your birthday and you forget to renew and you keep on driving your car, what will happen to you? Agak-agaknya lah. Mingkai, are you here? Tak ada. Kai ni pergi mana pula? Min Yao?
Yes, Prof.
Driving license you will expire on the
April.
Dah renew belum?
Sudah.
Sudah renew. What happen if you don't renew? What happen if you forgot that you have already expired?
Kena
Kena
penalti.
penalty. So when you submit for the extension of your driving license,
Yes.
do they give an extension of the period that you fail to renew on the birthday, or they just go with it's going to be less than 1 year because you have moved from the date of your birthday? Are they going to extend another going to be on the birthday that the license will expire, the new license will expire?
On the new license.
The new license. Let's say it's in April. Let's say it's in 30th April and you forget to renew. Let's say you renew on the 15th of May. Do you think your license will then expire on the 14th May next year, or will still go according to your birthday? Meaning you're going to lose that 2 weeks.
According birthday.
So it goes the same with the box when your registration, box when your renewal or for authority to practice. But the box authority to practice is extended until April, but your license will expire 31st December of the calendar year. It will not go according to the extension period. It just go to the calendar year. So meaning if you forgot to renew and your name has been published in the public notice, in the newspaper, and then only you renew in June or in July, the board will not give your expiry date for July next year. Your expiry date will still maintain 31st December of that year. Meaning you still have another few months more to practice as a valid authority to practice. Do you get me? Boleh faham? Nurul Ain'ni, boleh faham? Nurul Ain'ni, faham? Cuba explain apa yang you faham. Yes. Masih maintain hujung tahun ya. Sekejap saya nak saya nak on saya punya kelas. Okay. Kita nak habis dia punya tu. Okay, betul tu. Maknanya regardless you renew bila, your license will still expire on 31st December of each calendar year. Right. So, okay, now upon submission of an application using form B, you still have to submit, jangan salah form, for registration to practice as registered estate agent. This is for the registered estate agent, payment of the fee. So, kalau tengok dekat sini, if you look here, you have two things that you must observe. You must submit using relevant form and you must pay the fee. Ada dua perkara dekat situ. And no registered person can be registered under Part 3, which is an estate agent, unless he has been registered as a probationary estate agent. And this is very clear under Section 22D, meaning probationary estate agent is a must, it's a mandatory. So if you wish to become just an estate agent, make sure once you graduate, once you receive your scroll and the appointment letter, you must register as a probationary estate agent. Similar to a probationary valuer, once you have received your scroll together with a transcript, you submit with the appointment letter. Don't temper anything to your appointment letter. If your appointment letter say your salary is 1,000, then beat it 1,000. Don't just go and delete, or don't just going to erase it, or you're going to just cover the salary. Because the appointment letter must be a complete appointment letter. So don't think that you want to temper with your appointment letter. If your appointment letter mention about 5,000 once you are just a graduate and then you earn 5,000, so there must be something not correct there. So we will ask further for the EPF submission then. So don't just think that this is just a requirement and you just take things easy, right? So what I mean is, be serious on this one, because when you submit, the committee will look at your submission, your application. they will browse through your appointment letter. And we have gone through last time when we talk about registered estate agents, the appointment of PEA is different from the appointment of rent. Boleh? So what's the difference between rent, real estate negotiators, of which you are now practicing, Chua, compared with PEA? Chua,
Yes, doctor.
what's the difference between rent, real estate negotiator? You have your real estate negotiator number, kan?
That one is for 1 year, valid for 1 year one.
1 year.
Then PEA is free before becoming a registered estate agent. No, that one is a different thing. Negotiator is it's not like no need to get hire more. Something like that.
Lagi? Apa? So one thing that is obvious about the difference between real estate negotiator and PEA.
Or it's under supervision of an estate agent or PEA. IN.
REN, you don't have to be supervised.
Yeah, correct.
You don't have to be supervised. So if anything goes wrong, siapa yang jawab?
Only me? No.
Anything goes wrong, who will attend the disciplinary action? Who will then remove from the register? Not REN. It's the registered estate agent. You still need to be supervised, but you were supervised as per the business supervision. You must follow all the codes of conduct, even though you are REN. But one thing obvious, the difference between REN and PEA is the qualification. REN do not have a specific qualification. You can just have SPM, become REN. You can have degree in chemistry, you can be REN. Betul kan?
Yes.
But to be a registered PEA, then we will go through what are the requirements. Okay. So next slide is what are the qualification of the registered estate agents. This is the registered estate agent, but prior to be a registered estate agent, you need to be a PEA first. You need to have a diploma or bachelor degree as accredited by the board, not any diploma, not any bachelor degree. And this diploma or bachelor degree offered by local universities, either public and private universities, or you can have foreign universities in Malaysia and the partnering universities in Malaysia, or you can have your degree or qualification from the foreign universities in the countries of origin. What I mean is, if you study in UK, perhaps that university submit for the accreditation by the board, so the graduates can be a registered estate agent after they have become a registered PEA, after they have become a PEA. Meaning the qualifications are recognized by the board, then the graduates are able to submit to be a PEA. And the accreditation manual is published by the board online via the board's website, and the manual specified the qualifications recognized by the board. Okay, cuba buka sekarang the accreditation manual kat dalam board's punya website. Boleh? Cuba tengok apa qualification yang recognized by the board to be a registered estate agent. Boleh? Cuba buka sekarang. Big Guan. Guan nanti dia tak.
Yes, Prof.
Okay, can you buka the website?
Already open it.
Okay. What are the example of the qualifications that are recognized by the board?
For estate agent.
Estate agent lah, kita tengah belajar estate agent ni.
Okay. If in local context, then is everything under the valuer accredited for the valuer also can be estate agent, and then also including for other diploma in estate management.
Yes.
University Technology Mara, UITM, Shah Alamat.
UITM, yeah, right.
As well as
and
TAR UC, TAR for the private institution, Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, the diploma as well. And for foreign country, we got Australia from the Homies Glen Institute of Coffee.
Tafir, itu dulu dah lama, yang barunya dah tak ada.
Until intake 2010 only.
Okay, and then?
For also as well as the board itself, diploma in estate agency and RISM.
Right, okay. Lagi?
Lagi we have other like UCSI, binary, president Koresh,
right. Okay.
UCSI.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Lidwan. Okay, if you look at the qualifications, what happened is we do have, when I say we, I'm referring to the board, even though I'm no longer a board member. The board do receive application, let's say in that case study from Tafe University in Australia, was only recognized until what year was that, Lidwan? 2003, is it? Or is it 2010?
2010.
2010, it's only up to 2010. But there are cases when the graduates was still in the system and they graduate in 2011. Even though the board only recognized up to 2010, if you graduate in 2011, definitely it will not be recognized by the board. But what can be done is the board now opens a route from the individual accreditations, meaning if the university did not apply for the accreditation for the program, you can actually apply for your own personal qualification, which means you are taking a risk actually when you submit for the accreditation individual, because you still need to pay 2,000 USD for the foreign universities and 2,000 Malaysian ringgit, I think if I'm not mistaken, for the local universities. Let's say if your colleagues actually attend the program, let's say diploma from UTM. If you notice, diploma from UTM is not mentioned as the qualification that is recognized by the board. But there are a lot of diploma offered by UTM via their business entity, UTM Space, and they are doing it under a number of franchise programs, such as College, what do they call? College Technology Darul Naim, College Technology Timur, and you have Unified University. So you have few franchise programs offered by UTM, which has yet to obtain recognition by the board. And when you graduate, you want to practice, but when you see that, you look at the qualification is not available in the board's website. So what can be done is advise your colleague. They can still submit and pray hard so that the programs will be recognized by the board, but it will only be given to them, specific. It will not be given to the university, but it will be given to the person. Boleh faham? Boleh? So the board is not that rigid as far as recognition is concerned, because we have opened a new route, individual recognition. But you still have to pay. If the program is submitted by the university will pay. For example, for UM, for the University of Malaya, to submit for the accreditation, and they have 10,000 to the MQA. So ada dua dekat situ. So these are borne by the program owner, program holder, the university. But if you have not obtained, if you study in a program that is not recognized by the board, but you know your qualification will allow you to register as a PEA, get your colleagues, whoever studied in the program that is not recognized by the board, as far as the website is concerned, they can submit as an individual capacity. Boleh faham? Pay only once or once a year. Apa tu, Brian? Apa tu you? Talking about what you?
Yang tadi itu board punya recognition and MQA.
Oh, itu pay sekali saja. Pay masa mula-mula sekali nak dapat recognition. Kalau for individual, you pay 2,000 USD. For the foreign university, you only pay during the application for the recognition of the program. And then for the university, everything of their name in the board's website, in the board's register. For the registrants, you only pay 2,000. and then you pay your renewal fee every year. That's all. You don't pay every year 2,000. You only pay once for the assessment of your program so that it can be recognized for you to submit as a PEA, and then you pay the renewal fee once you have your PEA number. Boleh? Okay. Sebab saya punya screen kecil lah, tak nampak. Okay. Ada soalan setakat ni? Any other questions? Okay, so what needs to be done is you must register as a probationary estate agent. I have mentioned earlier this is a must as far as the section 22D is concerned. 22D in the Act is concerned. And you must work full-time basis as a PEA, full-time, ya, sama macam rent. Betul kan? Chua, you are working full-time as rent or part-time?
Yes. Full-time.
Full-time. Okay, my next question is Chua. How can you work full-time as a rent and you are a full-time student at the same time? Jawab doh. Itu sebablah saya cakap tak betul tu. Sebab kita tahu, sebab kita pejam mata. Okay. So work full-time basis as long as you don't have a dual EPF, that's fine. Studentship not so bad. But we know it's against the provision as far as the standards is concerned. Because how can you work as a full-time rent at the same time you are also a full-time student? Okay, so itu tak apa, tutup mata. Chua dah nak grad pun. You need to maintain your work diary, you need to have the record of experience, and you need to prepare practical tasks 2,000 to 4,000 words unless you have that 10 years experience. And the test of professional competence interview to attend towards the end once you have completed item number 1 to 5. Okay, so register as a probationary estate agent. A minimum of 2 years for diploma holder, except for graduates in degree in real estate, property management, or similar degree recognized by the board, which is 1 year. So if you have degree, your period of your period of training is only for 1 year. So PEA is only for 1 year. Boleh? But if you have diploma and you have the InSpan program, the CEA tadi, in recognition for the CGL, other qualification are all via diploma route. Because as far as MQA is concerned, CGL is below diploma and CGL is only by those who are not an institution. Because InSpan is under Jabatan Penilaian, is under Valuation Department, is under MOF. InSpan do not have any MOE, Ministry of Education, because for you to operate as a education provider, you need to have a license, you need to have permit, of which InSpan don't have. That's the reason why InSpan is only given the approval as a certificate, not diploma. But their certificate is recognized as equivalent to InSpan are given a special recognition because InSpan is under the government agency and they have sufficient facilities and equipment to offer the program. So let's say kalau kata MIEA nak offer or RSM nak offer, RSM the degree, the exam is recognized, but not the program itself. So let's say if other NGOs would like to offer the program and obtain the approval as a certificate, the answer is a straightforward no, because you cannot just offer any program without having a license and permit from the Ministry of Education. So InSpan is case lama under the Valuation Department, which is under the Ministry of Finance. So other qualification comes under the Ministry of Education. Boleh nampak dia punya beza dia? Do you get me? Boleh faham? Ain'ni? Ain'ni? Are you here?
Yes,
Okay, apa yang you faham about InSpan punya program?
InSpan is a certificate and is a government agency under MOF.
Yes. Lagi?
Is under Valuation Department.
Yeah. So which is not a usual IPT, which is under the Ministry of Education. So that's the difference between InSpan. So if anybody asks you why InSpan is so special and why their qualification is only known as certificate, not diploma, mainly because InSpan is not a higher education provider as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned, which means they don't have license and permit or as an institution, as a private higher institution. Public university, they don't have that. They don't need that. Only the private university requires a license and permit, right? Okay, come back to this one. You need to work on a full-time basis in an estate agency firm. This is why Chua cakap tadi he worked as a full-time rank, not PA. Okay, and supervised by registered estate agent. And we have 3 areas of approved experience under Rule A guidelines for the TPC for the estate agency practice. Sorry. So, okay. These are the areas of experience and you boleh tengok dalam rules and guidelines of TPC ada kan? Do you have a copy of rules and guidelines of TPC yang Adiba dah bagi pada you all, the soft copy?
Yes.
Okay, you buka page berapa ya? Dalam dia punya appendix A, page 8. Page 8, 9 and 10 ya. Ada 3 page dekat situ. Okay, go through dulu. Area 1, we have sampai 1.5. Area 2, we also have sampai 2.4. And area 3, we have area 1 until area 3.1 until 3.8. Can you go through first? Area 1 ada 1.1 until 1.5. Area 2, you have 2.1 until 2.4. Area 3, you have 3.1 until 3.8. Do you get me? Boleh? Boleh, Chua? Ken, do you have a copy? Do you have a copy of the TPC rules and guidelines TPC with you now? Soft copy has been distributed by Adiba Suraya, which is not correct. Tapi sebab dia dah nak review baru punya, saya rasa okay lah. Izwani, do you have a copy of that? Ikhwan ada? Ada?
Dia je tengah bilik.
Tengah bilik. Okay. 1.1 until 1.5 for area 1. Apa dia, Ikhwan? Dapat tak? Izwani. Ikhwan. Dia tengah belik. Tak dapat lagi. Siapa yang dah dapat, Shuzan? Area 1.
Yes,
1.1 until 1.5. Can you read out?
1.1 is securing a property for sale.
Okay.
1.2 is details of property.
Right.
And then 1.3 is viewing of property and negotiating.
Right.
1.4, closing and elements of a contract.
And 1.5?
And 1.5, handing over of possession.
Okay, handing over of possession. So what happened is, for the area 1, you talk about sale and purchase of residential, commercial, industrial, and agriculture property. I don't know why they put in. I think the new one we have and or, because not everybody will manage to sell all these 4 types of property. Chua, in your experience, you focus on which one, or you have all these 4 areas, 4 types of property?
Residential only.
Only residential. Do you do any commercial? Do you do any industrial or agricultural?
Tara.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So if you were to do this under area 1, 1.1 agriculture, then if you read, if the panel is so rigid, but as the sentence is and not or, then you'll be in trouble. Do you get me? Chua, you faham tak kenapa you be in trouble? Agak-agaknya lah.
Tak tahu. I kena buat at least 2 lah. At least semua kena buat. Tak faham.
Cuba you baca dekat my slides dekat sini. The tajuk for the area 1 is sale and purchase of residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural property. Not all and. Boleh faham tak? So that's why saya kata they are going to review this one. But as of the current one, if the panel it become very rigid because she or he read the sentences as the word and, then you only have cover only one, then you have to go back and do your extension period of training. So you cannot blame the assessor because in the guideline it read as and. Okay, but I don't think assessor are that rigid. But for the TPC task, for the valuer, they're quite rigid. And when we say and, it means and. Right? Okay, so if you look at page number 8 for the appendix A, we have a securing a property for sale. Under securing property for sale, what do you normally do to secure property for sale? Chua, maybe you can share your experience. The reason I panggil Chua because you practice as rent. Okay, Chua, can you share with us your experience? What do you do when you secure a property for sale? What is the first step? What needs to be done first? You do a sub-sale or you do a marketing project marketing?
Marketing project under con one, under construction.
Under construction. So what needs to be done first?
Reach out to the potential client through marketing.
Okay.
Then once you reach out, yeah, through marketing.
Okay, so
then,
more or less, you are not doing under area 1. When you say you do marketing, so we look at area 3, marketing of property for sale or letting. Okay, under that one, we have preparation of marketing materials. That's what you did, right? You do prepare brochures and flyers. You send out brochures and flyers.
Now no more.
Anymore, no. You have for the news media. You have for the news media online.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you do marketing plan and strategies. Do you do that?
Yes, correct.
Yes. And then you have sales and rental presentation to prospects. Do you do that?
Yes, correct.
And you qualify the purchaser and the tenant.
Again?
Qualifying. Qualifying means you tengok gaji dia cukup tak cukup nak beli.
Yes. Of course.
Whether they are Bumi Putra lot, then you have a non-Bumi, so they are not qualified lah.
Yes.
Okay. And then you determine the target group. Do you have a specific target group for you to market your property, or you just blast anywhere?
No, just blast.
Just blast. You don't really have a target group. You send also to the students?
No lah. I mean, got working population.
Adalah target group. Mana boleh hantar je tu pensioner, no money. Okay, and you do the market analysis. Probably you do market analysis sometimes to compare with your subject property. And you update your property listings. Do you do that? You need to do update.
Yes, correct.
And you need to submit a progress report to the vendor or to the property developer. So in this case, if you do all those things, you come under area 3. Right? So you have actually covered under area 3 as your approved professional experience. In doing all this, if you can go back to area number 1, which Susan has mentioned tadi, you secure property for sales means you have the agency appointment, of which you were given the agency appointment. You also have the terms of appointment, and you do inspection of the property, you do the details of the property. You got to know what to market, and you know what are the details of the property. So in this case, you jual apa Chua? Bagi contoh projek yang you jual, kondominium.
Kondominium.
How do you describe your property? Where are you going to get the information of your property?
Information.
Kata yang dijual kondominium. Apa jenis kondominium?
Through the info pack.
Alright.
Info pack by developer. Yeah.
Right. So you inform the prospective. These are the property, and you have the information on the property. Okay. What are the examples of information that you relay to your prospect?
The basic details the tenure, the location exactly, developer, size, price. Yeah.
Yes. So those are the details of property, because you cannot just inform I'm selling this property without giving details of the property.
Yep.
So in a way, when you do your marketing as per the area 1, you are also doing area 1. When you do area 3, you're also doing area 1 because it involves the sales and purchase of the property that you want to sell. So viewing of property and negotiating, do you do that? Do you do viewing because the project is not yet completed? Do you have viewing?
Some is just completed, so it's considered under contract. It's still considered new property.
All right.
That one did before. Yeah.
Okay. And do you do the negotiating part?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course, because the money come from the negotiation. Okay. And then you close your deal. When you close your deal, you have to letter of offer and acceptance. Do you have that? Do you have letter of acceptance?
Yes, by bank, yeah.
Okay. And you have all the contract basis. Do you collect earnest deposit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some projects.
Some project you require to collect earnest deposit. It's not booking fee. What's the difference between booking fee and earnest deposit?
Wow, this one I don't know. I thought the same.
It's not the same. Booking fee, dia boleh jadi gone. It's just a booking fee gone. Earnest deposit, you give an earnest deposit. If the sale didn't go through, you have to refund back that earnest deposit. Booking fee is just a booking fee. It's just gone. It will not be treated as part of the sale.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the terminology that all of you must be aware of. When you talk about earnest deposit, it is provided in the standard. So it is part of the legal requirements that you need to pay the earnest deposit. But if the deal didn't go through, you have to refund back the earnest deposit. So the buyer is being taken care of. So that's the reason why estate agent cannot claim their estate agency fee until the deal has go through. When is the deal considered as go through? Bila?
SMP is being stamped.
SMP is being stamped, and then they collect your fee straight away. The new project is okay, but look at the title. If the title mentioned under the restriction of interest, or the jual beli or the pajak gadaian pindah milik mestilah mendapat kelulusan pihak berkuasa negeri. Ada kan? So if you have already stamped the SPA, if the government did not given the approval for the transaction, do you think the sales is considered as closed? Deal go through?
No.
No. So that's the reason why you have to wait, not until the SPA. It depends on the project. It depends on the project. Because if the project don't have that special restriction and interest, you can straight away claim your fee. But if the project didn't go through, I mean the sale didn't go through because the government has yet to approve the consent to do a transaction, then you cannot claim your fee. That it took so long to approve, the buyer might retract or might just withdraw and you have to give back the earnest deposit to them. So do you think you can get your fee if the buyer withdraw before SMP?
No, cannot.
Cannot. If the buyer withdraw after SMP, boleh dapat fee.
Also need to bagi balik.
Also need to bagi balik. Okay. So all those things you must observe. As a rent, you know, but you are considered as lucky because even though you practice as a rent, but you are graduates in estate agent. You are graduates in real estate, so you have a better understanding as far as the title documents are concerned, right? So after you have closed the contract, okay, all the contract, letter of offer, capacity to contract, there are example of what are the contents of all those letter of offer. You kena tengok dalam Malaysian Estate Agency Standards. Dalam Malaysian Estate Agency Standard, at the back there, after Standard 10, okay, you get me? After Standard 10, you have the listing form, you have the general authorization to sell, general authorization to let. These are the example of the form, and the authorization to secure property for rent, and agreement to purchase, and then you have viewers, acknowledgement of property inspected, the viewers punya form. You need to observe all those things and it needs to be done according to the provision in the standard. Don't come up with a new one You can come up with a new one. This is just an example, but the content must be the same as far as the board's requirement is concerned. The company has to has to observe on this requirement. Jangan buat sendiri punya without taking all the information required by the board as far as the form in the standard is concerned. Okay, so lastly, when you have closed the deal, then you hand over the possession. When you hand over, do you do an inventory or checklist, Chua?
I belum property so far, belum ada handover lagi.
Belum ada handover lagi. Sebab you have already closed few deals, but you have yet to hand over because the project is yet to be completed.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that is area 1 and area 3. So area 2 is about tenancy. Thank you, Chua. Area 2 is about tenancy, leases of residential, commercial, industrial, and agriculture property. So it's just the same, area 3, but there is a difference as far as the content is concerned, because when you talk about securing a property to let, if you can refer to page number 9, page number 9 in the rules and guidelines to the TPC for the estate agency practice. 2.1 is about the same with 1.1 when you compare with the activities under the sales and purchase. And 2.2, when you talk about details of property, you have something slightly different because you need to look at the inventory list in the property that is meant for sale, for tenancy. Because the property may be rented fully furnished or partly furnished or without furnishers, right? So you need to have the inventory list and you need to have the ownership of a property, whether it becomes under the, let's say, main tenant or subtenant. And then you have item number 3, closing tenancy lease agreement. You need to have all those contract, and you need to have the keys, insurance, repairs and maintenance. They have more items as compared to the closing and elements of a contract in the sales and purchase, because under the tenancy, you have a lot more duties. Because when you talk about tenancy, you are not going to transfer everything. The tenant still needs to be covered under the insurance. The tenant needs to look at the service charge, maintenance fee, and they need to look at the meter readings. They need to look at the refund of deposit after the termination of the sales tenancy agreement, and the stamping of the tenancy agreement also need to be mentioned. Who will bear the stamping of the tenancy agreement? And under the handing over of possession, it's just inventory checklist. You need to observe on that, because when the tenant has ceased the tenancy, when they give back the property to you as an estate agent, you can do tenancy management. Tenancy management is provided dalam standard number 10. Do you have the standard with you? Page berapa? Standard number 10. Sutling. Lavinia, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, standard 10. Tenancy administration. This is a new provision for the estate agent. They can do tenancy administration. It's not property management, it's tenancy administration, standard number 10. Page berapa dalam standard? Ada tak standard dengan you, Lavinia?
Yes.
Cepat cari. Standard number 10. Page berapa?
14.
Page 14. Ni buka kat mana ni?
Sekejap.
Ini pun soft copy
Ya, soft copy.
Oh ni, yang ini patutnya belilah. Estate agency dia baru punya 2020.
Okay, page 30.
Page
8. Page 38.
Page 38. Okay, baca introduction dia.
Okay, introduction. The role of the estate agent may include tenancy administration, which involves the effective management of landlord-tenant relationship and the associated management functions to ensure that a property is able to provide tenants with a level of customer-oriented services and satisfaction, enabling landlords to attract and retain tenants.
Okay, so it's just more like associated management functions. Okay, read further on 10.1.2. These are the roles involved for estate agents as far as tenancy administration is concerned. So it involves aspect of, baca, Lavinia.
The estate agent's role in tenancy administration may involve aspects of tenant liaison, handing and taking over of premises, billings, collection and disbursement of rents, coordination between contractors, undertaking works in the premises, payment of utilities, property taxes and services charges, and monitoring reinstatement of premises upon termination or expiry of the tenancy or lease.
Okay, so it's a big job actually, but it's not as equal to the property management. Because when we talk about property manager, their role is more than just looking at the premises itself. They also have the duty to look at the investment side of the property. So in the case of tenancy administration, if you can look back at the 10.1.2 under tenancy standard number 10, tenancy administration, page 38, it involved tenant liaison, involved taking and handing over of the premises, the billing, the collection and disbursement of rents, coordination between contractors, undertaking works in the premises, and payment of utilities, property tax and service charge, and monitoring reinstatement of premises upon termination of expiry to the tenancy or lease. Monitoring reinstatement of premises means estate agent may be involved in the new to call a contractor to make good of the property once the current tenancy has expired. So that is also part of the duty of under the tenancy administration, which can be done by the estate agent, right? So, and then there are others about what need to be done by estate agent under the statement of standards. Nanti you baca sendiri ya, 10.2.0 and also 10.3.0 on the explanations. But these are the extra job that is given that can be done by estate agency as far as the property is concerned, which is related to tenancy administration. Okay? So all these duties is under Area 1, Area 2, Area 3. So what is the importance of this Area 1, Area 2, Area 3? Because you need to have the areas, all these areas. Unlike valuers, you have 8 areas, you were given a choice to choose 3. Estate agent, you need to have the PEA, need to look at Area 1, 2, 3, and you need to cover a sufficient balance of these 3 areas. Okay, 3 areas. You cannot just focus on 1 area. So meaning kalau you only do area 1 without doing tenancy, CHUA, in the course of PEA, if you submit a work diary without a balance of area 1, area 2, and 3, you may be extended for a period of 2 months, 3 months, just to do the area 2. If your focus is more only on area 1 and 3. You don't do 2 at all, then the assessor of the work diary can ask you to extend to have an experience in this area 2 as well. Boleh faham, Chua?
Oh, okay. So must do also lah, the tenancy.
Yeah, it's must do, because these are the 3 areas that you must have a sufficient balance. So not only 1. As rent is fine. As a PEA, you need to cover all this. Boleh? Okay,
boleh.
so okay, now we look at under the work diary. So now we move. Kita dah ada 3 areas and then kita nak submit as a PEA. You make sure you jadi register estate agent HUA, don't just be maintain as rent, ya.
Okay.
You ada degree, Jeff you tak balik-balik lagi. Okay. Make sure you submit to be a PEA and eventually become a registered estate agent and have your own practice and employ rent bawah you. Jangan maintain jadi rent saja ya Chua. Don't waste your time. Okay.
Doktor, mau
yes.
tanya biasa berapa lama untuk settle the PA and also the REA?
PEA tadi berapa lama tadi? Kita dah go through tadi.
1 year.
PEA, ada degree 1 year saja.
Normally in the
1 year.
how long it took? I mean to REA, yeah.
After 1 year, okay, kita tengok proses dia apa. 1 year, within that 1 year, what need to be done is you must have your work diary. This is your work diary, contoh work diary lah. Okay, so the first
Okay.
year work diary, and then kita ada, this is the first year work diary, and then kita ada the second year work diary. Tengok situ the second year work diary, the candidate himself wrote a note there, extended 1 month.
Wow.
Dia sendiri letak a note there, extended 1 month from the second of 6 months. Probably because this is the penalty imposed by the assessor during the first year. The first year kat sini, kalau tak cukup 3 areas, then you proceed to the year 2 for the diploma holder. But for the degree holder, you have the first 6 months. Make sure you submit after the 6 months, and then you submit for the preliminary assessment, progress assessment. If the assessor is not satisfied with the area, 3 areas that you cover, is only focused on 2 areas saja, so they will put a note to ensure a balance of 3 areas in the second 6 months, because you only have 1 year, right? But if you come to the year 2, your second half, if your second 6 months tak cukup juga area 2, so the tendency is the assessor will put a note, extend for a penalty imposed for another 3 months for you to cover area 2. So when the penalty imposed for the second 6 months for area 2 for 3 months, you need to just concentrate on area 2 only. Failing which, you takkan siap your logbook because you tak complete within 1 year. Itu dia punya scenario dia. Do you get me, Chua?
Okay.
So as a PEA, you must make sure your supervisor will give you sufficient 3 areas for you to cover. This is for PEA. Even though tenancy don't make much money, but as a registered estate agent, they know that the supervisee need to have exposed to the experience of the 3 areas. So if you don't have that, you have to go back to your supervisor. You need to have that area under 2 for the tenancy. Boleh? Okay. And then if you can move, these are the example of the assessment of work diary. Example, how the board sent to the assessor what need to be done. Oh, saya dah letak salah ni. Dah sini. Okay, so these are the work diary. You have 7 work diary here, and they will mention the first one extended 3 months from second year. Why extended? Probably tak cukup area tadi, tak sufficient. Second one, second of 6 months. This is a 1 year work diary. And then the third candidate is second year, which means he has only diploma. Fourth candidate extended 1 month from the second of 6 months. This is probably, kalau extended, the second of 6 months means 1 year. 1 year means degree holder. So they were extended because they do not cover sufficient 3 areas, balance of 3 areas. Or dia bagi a sketchy note saja. Kita akan tengok apa content of work diary. And the fourth candidate is the second year, the first year, the second year. Boleh? Ada soalan setakat ni? Boleh faham? This is how they submit to the assessor. And this is how the board put a note. What are the things that need to be looked at by the assessor? Okay? Ada soalan? So if we move, what are the contents of the work diary? These are the example. Contoh, kita ada dekat sini area 2. Dia kata tadi updated listing industry, updated industry Subang Jaya, and then they put a code here. This is for the tenancy. And then you have viewing appointment today, a tenant, there's another area 2. And then you have area number 3, given a PJ office, buyer assessment, TTDI, area number 3, and then you have sources of listing, viewing of appointment. So these are the code that you need to have to observe. And code of area training is according to your area 1, area 2, or area 3. Boleh? Ada soalan? Ain'ni ada soalan? Linky Ching ada soalan? Nurul Ain'ni ada soalan? Fawas, are you here? Ikhwan, dah ada dah? Ikhwan ni asyik hilang aja.
Ada.
Ada. Boleh faham? Ikhwan nak submit untuk PV kan? You tak submit untuk PEA kan?
Ha?
Are you going to be PEA or are you going to submit for PV? Power pula. Jawapan dia PA ataupun PV? Duduk Terengganu buat PV lah. Duduk Terengganu susah sikit PA. Buat PV boleh cover semua. Kalau datang KL boleh pilih sebab ada banyak projek. Okay. Ada soalan setakat ni? No? Okay, if you can move. Ini now you must observe. You tengok sini. Chua, Ikhwan, Nurul Wahidah. Okay, you tengok sini. What happened? Apa salah dia ni? Dulu saya ada student nama Siva. Dia akan cakap, apa salah Siva? So, apa salah benda ni? Apa salah dia?
Tulisan tak cantik.
Tulisan tak cantik? Amboi, sedap je kata orang. Macam tulisan you cantik.
Signature.
Saja. Signature apa?
Tak ada sign candidate.
Tak ada yang kandidat yang mana? Signature satu kandidat tak ada, tak sign. Kita akan pulang balik ya kalau tak ada sign. Lagi satu, apa salah dia?
Dia sudah siap dia punya work diary tapi tak ada macam buat itu remark dekat situ.
Dia suruh dia punya supervisor sign saja. Ataupun supervisor got so excited sign semua. Dia tak sign. Kandidat tak tulis apa pun tapi dia sign juga. So tak tahu nak cakap apa. Okay. So you must observe all this. Jangan buat suka hati saja. Candidate signature must be there. If you don't sign you punya candidate as a candidate, we will return back. When you return back, it talk about 2 weeks. 2 weeks for you to get back or 1 week for you to get back your logbook and 1 week for you to get. So you're going to lose 1 month. Okay. So, and then the supervisor as a registered estate agent, when you supervise, don't just simply sign saja. And then dikata kat situ name in block letters. Kalau you nampak kat sini, boleh nampak? Name in block letters. Can you see name in block letters? Dia bukan sign saja. Dia tak boleh sign saja. The signature, supervisor signature, name in block letters. If you just sign without any your name in block letters, the assessor will ask you to resubmit. Simple as that. And for the valuers, dia ada date lagi bos. Kalau ada date, you tak letak date, resubmit. Boleh faham? Salah ke assessor suruh you resubmit kalau you tak buat? Siapa salah? Tak salah. Siapa yang salah? Kenapa tak ikut arahan? Candidate lah. Yang tak salah supervisor dia boleh je, dia tak kisah dia supervisor. Yang nak jadi registered estate agent or registered valuer is the candidate. So it is the duty of the candidate when you do your work diary or logbook in the case of valuer, it's the same. Your responsibility is yours. You need to you are responsible for your work diary or logbook. Kalau ada dekat sini code of training area, ada cases di mana dia letak code of training area dia kosong, tak ada. Tersuruh dia submit balik. In this case, candidate dia tak ada sign, tapi dia punya supervisor dia sign, tapi candidate yang tak sign. Yang ini supervisor sign, candidate tak tulis apa-apa pun. Okay, boleh faham? Right, if you can move. Now, these are the record of experience. Once you have done your work diary, dah cukup 1 year, complete semua cukup, cua, you need to submit juga the record of experience. Right? So the record of experience is just a report actually. A report not less than 500 words. It's just like a simple assignment. It's actually extracted from your work diary, but now it become in the format of report. Tadi dalam work diary, ini you tulis. Every single word yang you tulis ni panel kena baca. Assessor akan baca. Yang ini kita akan, then you ada your ROE at the end of your completion of the required training. After 1 year or after 2 years, you submit the ROE and not less than 500 words and must be certified by the candidate supervisor. The contents of ROE is more specific type of work, apa you buat. When you say type of work, refer back to the area 1, 2 and 3. Whether you are doing a sales, whether you are doing a tenancy or you are doing a marketing. And which area, geographical area. Kalau kata dekat Sunway, then you mention dekat Sunway for that particular property. Chua, you buat projek mana sekarang ni? Chua?
Puchong.
Puchong. Projek apa?
Projek condominium.
Okay, so if you were to write a content of ROE according to these 5 topics, what are you going to mention? Type of work means? Apa you nak tulis dalam ROE? Dalam ROE you?
Complete transaction of property, Not leasing.
Transaction. Go back to the area tadi. Area tadi kita ada 3
Area
area.
one.
Kita ada area. You are doing sales and purchase, or you are doing
Yeah.
sales saja, kan? So jangan datang idea baru. So go back to the specific area 1 and 2. So you kata tadi pucuk. Type of work, sales. Sales and purchase. Sales and purchase of condominium. Projek apa nama you? Okay, kita
Mutiara
simpan.
Hilltop.
Okay, itu kita simpan kemudian. Geographical areas, pucuk.
Pucuk.
Type of
Okay.
property, condominium, dan you bagi example.
Okay.
Ya. Dia bagi the detail tadi. Apa nama pucung tadi? Mutiara pucung, then that's the property. Residential units. How many types of residential units? Jadi type A, you could have
How many
1,000.
types?
How many types? Your condominium.
Okay, layout. Two.
Berapa square feet?
1040 and 1355.
Yang itu kena be specific. 1040, 1355. Then you kena specific. 1040, what are the facilities? 1355, what are the facilities? So these are the details that we would like to have a look in your ROE.
Okay.
So be specific, be detailed on what you are doing. And then what is your level of responsibility? Level of responsibility, are you act on behalf of the developer as a salesperson, or you are behalf of the buyer to purchase? This is the level of responsibility, whether you sell or whether you purchase. Okay, it depends on your
developer.
It depends on your listing. When you say listing, is appointment letter, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, listing is not list of properties. When you say you have to get a listing, listing means appointment letter. Betul? Go back to the standard. Dalam standard cakap listing, kita ada listing, kita ada multiple listing. Ada kan? Go back to the standard.
Ada.
Apa dia multiple listing? Apa dia listing? Apa beza dia? Listing means appointment letter as far as the standard is concerned. Bukan list of properties. Now make sure dalam nanti bila TPC itu, jangan jawab listing as per the list of properties. Listing means appointment letter. Multiple listing means, siapa cakap tadi? Kayun ke?
Multiple listing means every agency.
Multiple listing means?
Every agency open to every agency to close the deal, and then the finance commission will be paid the one only who closed the deal. Only one people, only one firm.
Only one firm, And we also have third party listing. Apa dia third party listing? Pernah dengar third party listing? Agent, kalau you buat sub-sale, then you should know third party listing. Saya tak nak bagi jawapan dia, you pergilah cari. Because kita ada third party listing, and that is one of the questions that may be asked during your TPC. Because when you do sales of the property, we don't expect you just to confine to just a project marketing. You need to do sub-sale. You need to have the experience in sub-sale as well. If you don't have the experience, fine, but you need to understand what happened in the market as far as sub-sales is concerned. So you have listing, multiple listing, and you also have third party listing. Boleh Lik Guan? Macam susah lah ya.
Kita pasti listing macam kita guna property guru macam tu punya barang.
You guna property guru and then? Tak betul. Bukan you guna orang lain punya. Third party listing is kalau multiple listing, you have an agreement. You have an agreement between the estate agency firm. So if you close a deal, you can get your fee. Third party is just like, it's not your client. It belongs to somebody else clients, right? So somebody else owner, somebody else seller. Then you have a buyer. So you have the seller. You just work on, but then because you said the buyer is looking for a property, but you don't have any property. So you come to know about this estate agent who has the list of property, and he has already secured a contract or appointment letter listing from the owner. So you are working on the third party which you don't have any agreement. Kalau dia bayar Because when you close the deal, you're going to get the payment from your client. Now, who is your client now? Is the buyer. The one that owns the property, another agent has a listing from the owner. So when you close the deal, you are working on the owner's punya listing, on the another agent punya listing, who have nothing to do with you, and he don't want to share with you, because if he share, then you can term it as multiple listing. Boleh?
Macam ni bukan macam co-agency or what we call is the co-broking.
Co-agents, jangan panggil co-broking. Co-broking, the word broking, broker tu dah tak legal. Kita panggil co-agency.
Oh, okay. So itulah
Co-agency kalau you setuju. Co-agency kalau you have an agreement. Ini you tak ada agreement pun. You tak ada agreement. So you are taking a risk of working under his listing. So that's what panggil third party listing. Co-agency, you have an agreement. So it's more like multiple listing. Third party listing, you don't have any agreement. You don't have any, you tak ada kautin pun dengan dia. But you got to know he has a listing. But he don't want to share with you. He say kalau nak jual, you jual lah. So nanti, because when you close the deal, you are not going to claim anything from him. You are going to claim from your client, which means the person who appoint you to buy a property is from the buyer. You get the buyer, because as estate agency fee is not necessarily from the seller. You can get it from the buyer, but you cannot go from both sides. You only get from one side. Boleh faham? Okay.
Boleh.
Right. Okay, can we move? So kita ada the ROE. The ROE is actually extraction from the work diary that it come out in the report format, but it's not less than 500 words. Ideally, we expect you to come up with about like 10 pages. It can be about 4,000 words. It's like a report. What have you done in that period, and you bagi all the details. You bagi in the form of table format. Is much easier for the assessor to look at your ROE. Ataupun you boleh tulis if you like to tulis in the center. But in most cases, the assessor is more keen to have a format of a table format. It's a summary from your work diary. Okay, now you have your ROE. Now you have to prepare for the task. Kita ada dua task. Task 1, task 2. Task 1, kalau tengok dalam rules and guidelines, practical task, ada dua practical task and the item number 6. Boleh? And the item number 6, page 4 and 5, ada?
Yes.
Ini, okay, big one, page 4 and 5. Ada dua practical tasks that you need to submit. And these are the task 1 is the report showing step by step the agency process of a property you have sold. This is more on the agency process right from the day when you have your listing, when you were appointed by your client, and then you close the deal. So ini step by step, what have you done dalam report task 1. Task 2 is a marketing proposal. Now, not everybody is lucky as Chua, because Chua is more doing on the marketing for the project. Kalau you only buat sub-sale and you are supposed to do task 2, marketing proposal, look at the sentence, assuming you have been invited. Means not necessarily you do your the job as a marketing, but you can, this is more or less like macam dalam your assignment. You assume that you have been invited by the owner of a high-rise building or a mixed housing scheme to market his property. So what needs to be done? So dalam marketing proposal, what is the expectation of an assessor? You need to have what are the costs of marketing. Marketing dalam residual method will cost about berapa persen of the GDV. Go back to the residual method. Dalam marketing, berapa persen?
3%.
3%, okay. Marketing can be 3%, tapi kalau project marketing sometimes 5%. Betul kan Chua? Project marketing not necessarily 3%. Kalau
yes.
buat, it can be 5%, it can be 8%, but now time is difficult, so they reduce. Betul, Chua? Okay, so you have marketing proposal 3%. So make sure at least the marketing cost, what need to be done dalam marketing proposal ni. So go back to the item yang cakap task tadi. Go back to the item dalam area 3 tadi. Area 3, you ada preparation of marketing materials. Preparation of marketing materials means these are the cost. Okay, kita ada 3 area tadi. Marketing for property sales and letting. So kita ada marketing for sale, kita ada 3.1 sampai 3.8 Betul, Ikhwan? 3.1 sampai 3.8. 3.1 kita ada preparation of marketing materials. So dalam dekat sini, dalam area 2, we expect you, when I say we, I'm referring to the panel of assessor untuk you punya task. Okay, dalam preparation of marketing materials, what are the costs incurred untuk marketing materials? Chua, if you can share.
Again. Cost
What
for
are the costs incurred in carrying out the preparation of marketing materials? Apa kos yang terlibat? When you need to advertise, you advertise dekat mana? Property
Guru, Facebook.
So you have to pay.
Yes, of course.
So that cost you need to be costed dalam you punya costing. Because dekat dalam sini in task 2 we will look at what are the costs incurred, because you kena ada berapa persen of your GDV. Marketing proposal, you kena ada costing untuk you punya costing untuk marketing. Kalau you kata you buat dekat property guru, you need to have that property guru apa sample cost, because this one must be actual. Kalau you tak dapat, you can get the quotation. Kalau surat khabar, do you advertise in surat khabar as well? You need to have that quotation. Di surat khabar dia ada. Dalam Sincu Jikpo, dia ada cost dia kalau for you to publish. To have your project to be marketing. Okay, so you ada cost untuk Sincu Jikpo. Kalau half page berapa advertisement, half page berapa cost dia, full page color berapa cost dia, full page tak color berapa cost dia, satu kali berapa cost dia, banyak kali berapa cost dia. So all those costs must be dalam punya marketing proposal. And then kita ada marketing plan and strategy. Kalau katakanlah a new project, you nak buat advertisement dekat highways, ada kan? The signboard. How much does the signboard cost? Ada tak Chua?
Well, that one easily 6 digits.
Berapa?
Yeah, I think 6 digits. Developer yang bayar.
Developer yang bayar. But this is part of the marketing. So you have to know how much that 6 digit is. So find out how much. Jangan, dalam marketing proposal you need to know all those costs. And you need to substantiate with relevant documents to support the costing that you have mentioned tadi. Right? And then you ada your target group. Dalam marketing proposal kena juga ada target group. Who are your target group? You nak jual your condominium tadi. How much is your condominium price?
500k to 600.
So you must have defined your target group. Target group is those household income earning from how much? Ada kan? Bukan open to all.
Yes. Yes.
Kalau 500,000 household income must be dalam bracket berapa ribu?
Minimum 4 to 5 minimum.
4,000 cukup ke? Total household income. Kalau 500,000 sebulan bayar berapa? Main
2,000.
Kalau 2,000, go back to the basic. Kalau 30% of 2,000, gaji you 2,000. Gaji mesti jadi berapa? Kalau kena bayar 2,000, 30%. Means the household income cukup ke 4,000?
Sekurang-kurang
mean
6.5.
Yeah.
See, kalau you punya target group 4,000, dia nak bayar apa? 2,000 tak cukup. Tak boleh beli. Nanti dia default.
Housekeep.
So the household income must be at least 6,000 and above. If you go back to the rule of the Bank Negara, it has to be like 30% of your income. Okay, so that is a target group. And then your target group nanti those yang duduk dekat area situ ke? That is your main target group or anybody? Kalau Puchong.
Of course, those that nearby, PJ, Puchong, Bukit Jalil.
So that is your target group. That is another target group. Those who live nearby in the neighborhood. First is the income and then their location of the current residency dekat mana. Because kalau saya duduk dekat Kepong, do you think I want to move to Puchong? Very likely.
Of course, no.
Of course, no. So you are not going to target me as your buyer, prospective buyer. So that's the reason why you need to have that. Go back to the you dah belajar dalam marketing analysis. Letak semua dalam dekat situ. And then you ada the market analysis. Market analysis you dah belajar kan? So letak dalam you punya marketing proposal, the market analysis. So you tengok market sekarang, who are your competitor? When you say who are your competitor, you punya projek tadi start bulan berapa, siap bulan berapa. So then your competitor is when they have completed the project in the same year. It will not be a competitor. It can be a competitor kalau the new project is in progress. Sebab the sale is by the sales, bila dia dah siap dia punya advertisement, dia dah boleh buat sale. It can be a competitor even though the project is still in progress. Not necessarily the project dah complete. Okay, so these are the contents of the marketing proposal. One main thing is the GDV cannot be less than marketing cannot be less than berapa persen marketing fee. Kalau 3, it can be less because kalau project marketing, kalau you buat 3, it can be quite susah nak dapat dalam the current market is a bit difficult. We used to accept 1.5% as the lowest one. Anything below 1.5, that is just ridiculous. People don't do any marketing for 1.5 and below because you're talking about a bulk proposal. Because when you were appointed as a market a property, it is actually not just one unit, it's the whole project. Betul? Boleh cua? Do you think you can do less than 1.5? You can do less than 3? You want to do less than 3? Because nanti your costing you tak sampai 3 nanti. The cost for the marketing cannot be less than 1.5. Boleh? And the cost of the marketing refers to the yang tadi bayar kepada property guru, bayar untuk advertisement and signboards, bayar untuk buat showroom. So those things, and bila you invite orang untuk jadi the first step, you kata you buat pre-launching, you have pre-launching kan? Ada kan cua kan? Pre-launching and then
Yes.
ada apa lagi? Launching?
That's the market.
Dipanggil pre-launching, you akan test the market, you akan panggil orang to invite, special invitation, you akan bagi makan. So those cost makan is part of the cost dalam marketing. Okay, so you panggil berapa orang? Kalau ada project you ada 3,000 units, are you going to invite like 50% saja? Very likely no. So you akan invite more like 100 people. So 100 people, satu orang makan RM20 kali 100, so that will be a cost. And then you bagi goodie pack lagi so that you know they will buy the property from you. Because when you identify people to come from your pre-launch, you don't just identify anybody. You're going to target the prospective buyer that will purchase your property. So you have to invest for that purpose. So those investments are the cost as far as the marketing proposal is concerned. Boleh faham? Ada soalan setakat ni? What are the contents dalam marketing proposal? Banyak ya. Kena ada SWOT analysis as well. Apa dia SWOT analysis? Apa dia SWOT analysis?
Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat.
Okay, when you talk about strength, you are referring to which strength?
The property itself.
The property itself. So go back to the apa yang you dah belajar untuk SWOT. There must be a SWOT analysis. The property itself, the opportunity, the strength, SWOT, the weakness, the opportunity, and the threat. Right? Okay. Okay, and then if we can move, we have done that, and now we are going to invite you for the TPC. These are not the letters to you. These are the examiners that will have the panel will receive this, and then we have the candidate status, second attempt. This is what it means. Second, first. This is the first attempt, second attempt means they are repeaters. And satu area is allowed for 20 minutes. Kalau valuer satu area 30 minutes. So kalau first attempt you ada 4 area for the interview and 2 for your task 1, task 2, the total TPC interview you're talking about 2 hours. This is a very ideal situation. In most cases kita tak bagi 2 hours. You akan extended because we try not to fail you. When I say we, I'm referring to the panel. Okay, we are given 20 minutes, but in most cases for the task 1, task 2, task 1 is very easy. This one is a process saja. So task 1 you make sure you attach semua yang you terima tadi. Task 1 yang ini tadi, it's not as simple as showing step by step. You must enclose, this is an actual sale. So in the document, you must show, you must attach the earnest deposit and then your fee, your appointment letter, everything is actual case. Semua kena ada as a supporting document, not just step by step as per the explanation. It must be supported that you are doing a case. So simpan, kalau you jadi PA, once you have closed your deal, you have the appointment letter, you have the viewing form, semua kena ada dalam you punya task 1. Right? So when you ask you to pay the earnest deposit pun kena ada. Then when you have a vacant possession, when you have the appointment untuk handover, semua kena ada dalam situ. Right? So these are the things that they go through. So the 20 minutes and then kita ada the area for your test of professional competence is the property law, property taxation, estate agency principles and techniques, topical matters, estate agents, act, rules and standards. 3 sekali dalam ni ya. So estate agency principles and technique might semacam a bit, you may think it is a duplication, but actually estate agency principles and techniques is the practice. Okay, for example, soalan dia, kalau untuk estate agency principles and techniques, dia akan tanya you, example, if you were to introduce a tenant to new tenants, when the tenants come in, mula-mula dia kena buat apa? Meter readings? Kena tengok meter readings tak? Bila tenants nak berhenti, kata dia dah nak terminate the tenancy, you look at the meter readings, agak-agaknya, or you just ambil saja dia punya tu and just refund saja you punya utility bills. Do you look at the meter readings? Agak-agaknya lah. Hui Ming? Chong Hui Ming?
Yes.
Agak-agaknya lah. You pernah duduk dekat sewa apartment kan?
Tak ada.
Tak ada sewa? Duduk mana? Semua tak ada.
Duduk college last time.
Duduk college. Okay, duduk college. Tak ada dia. Okay, Lee Guan, you pernah duduk kat sini kan dengan Bingkai?
Yes.
Okay. Katakanlah you nak terminate your tenancy. The owner straight away refund your utility bills or utility deposit, or what will he do first?
Normally I think if I was the agent, I will wait for the next month to see the utilities bill, whether the outstanding bills during their tenant duration has been cleared out or not. Then only I
wait for next month. Kalau dia bagi you notice, dia kata April 30th, I bagi you notice 1 month, by end of May, I nak berhenti.
Macam ni sekiranya tak boleh tunggu next month, kita kena kira sendiri dengan baca itu reading .
So you akan tengok, bila you akan tengok meter reading you?
The moment the tenant move out from the unit.
Okay. Do you refund the utility deposit straight away on the 1st June or?
Wow. According to law, we have to refund at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah. I think according to law.
By 1st June, you have to refund the utility bill. You don't need to wait. Habislah you. Kalau dia tak bayar macam mana?
Yeah, that's why I think according to law, we need to refund immediately. But
according to the law, you need to refund immediately.
Bukan macam kita cakap deposit have to
deposit, that one is the rental deposit. I'm talking about utility deposit. Bila you nak masuk sewa rumah, ada 2 deposit you kena bayarkan.
Yeah. One is for utility.
One is a rental deposit. Boleh bagi straight away. But the other one is utility deposit.
1 month.
You ada 2 kan. So kalau kata rental deposit, normally you collect how much? How many months rental deposit?
Rental is 2 months normally.
2 months. So kita sebab kita ada 2 months. And then the utility deposit, how much?
2 months also?
2 months. How much? Is it the same? Rental deposit, kalau rental 1,500, you collect 3,000. So the utility deposit, you collect how much?
500 ah?
500 ekor.
Prof.
Yes.
Sangkut tadi.
Ya?
Tadi sangkut. Lepas
Sangkut.
saya cakap 500.
Okay. Cukup tak 500? Cukup.
Rasa
Bil air, bil elektrik, 2 air not so much. 1 bulan duduk dekat kondominium, bil air berapa?
macam 50 pun kena bayar.
Cukup lah. Cukup.
50 lebih kurang lah 50.
Ada berapa orang dalam kondominium 50 ringgit tu?
4 atau 5 orang macam ni.
5 orang. That's why dia akan tanya family dia ada berapa members. So kalau dia tak ada 4-5 orang, kalau dia kata dia duduk 8 orang, you rasa 50 ringgit cukup tak? See, you have to be careful when you want to. Ini dalam estate agency principle. Those are the question. Itu yang kita sembang tadi. Those are the type of question yang kita tanya. Kita tak tanya susah-susah. Nasib tu kita, those are the things yang I used to tanya to the estate agent. So saya akan tanya, cukup ke 500? You jawab sendirilah. So kita 4 orang. Kalau ada 8 orang, cukup tak 100? RM50. You sendiri cakap tak cukup. And you kata untuk elektrik, 400. Cukup tak? Kalau dia kata dia kerja sekarang ni semua orang online, agak cukup tak?
Tak. If everyone online, definitely
so
not
you
enough.
think you nak ambil deposit. Kalau dia berhenti bulan 5, you only have 500. Kalau dia tak bayar bill like 2 bulan, 1,000, where you going to get that money? Your own money. Kalau you jadi tenancy administrator, you think owner akan bayar? Owner akan suruh you bayar because you are the tenancy administrator. So as an estate agent, you need to know all those things. You need to have some understanding, some knowledge, and how much to collect for the rental deposit, how much to collect for the utility deposit. Because when you first introduce a tenant, you will first collect the rental deposit 2 months, and then ada lagi tak? Lagi? Apa lagi you collect untuk rental? Minyak?
Yes.
Kalau you introduce a tenant, what else do you collect? You collect the 2 months rental deposit, and then what else? What do you collect when you introduce a tenant? Itu soalan dia dalam estate agency principle and tenant. It's more on the practical side. So jawapan dia, minyak, what do you collect? You collect rental deposit.
My landlord only collect rental from us because the tenant we will settle the utilities and the rest of the bill ourselves.
You will settle. Memang you will settle the utilities. The owner will not settle the utilities.
Yes.
So what need to be collected by the estate agent when you introduce a tenant?
Earnest deposit.
Earnest deposit tadi 2 months lagi. Apa lagi?
Photocopy of IC.
Photocopy of IC, okay. That doesn't cost much. Lagi?
Income, the payslip.
Payslip, okay, fine. Lagi? It's just a document. I'm talking about money loh. I'm talking about document. Apa? We talk about money. Because the estate agent talk about money. So that's why lah cua nak jadi estate agent. Value tak make money. Okay. You need to have the first the 2 months deposit. That was a rental deposit that you need to bagi balik once dia dah bagi you notice. In addition to that, dia masuk bulan 5, dia masuk bulan 6 lah kata. 1 June dia masuk, which is tomorrow. You think dia bayar rental dia bila? When dia bayar rental dia? Tunggu end of the month ke? The first month of June. Bila dia bayar?
First week of every month.
First week of every month. So maknanya dia masuk, you kena bayar 2+1. Itu yang kita panggil 2+1. 2 months rental deposit. The first month is the first month rental. So it's 2+1. That one is rental. Plus the utility deposit. Itulah yang you collect. Boleh? Tak cukup lagi. Tak boleh pass dan nanti I suruh come back, refer balik untuk agency principles and techniques. Okay, kita ada property law, property taxation. Property law, you like it or you don't like it, because kita ada element of when you sell the property, you sell a agricultural property which have a apa dia, when you say potential, development potential. Maknanya apa yang you belajar dalam planning tu, you tak boleh lari. You suka ke, you tak suka, estate agent kata, we don't want to know about anything about planning. But if you sell a land with a development potential, then your client will ask you, what can I develop on property? So what are the information that is required for you to inform your prospective buyer when he asks, what can be developed on the property? Apa information yang nak cakap dekat dia? Itu soalan dalam property law. Ada siapa nak jawab? Nurul Ain'ni? Syira nak jawab? Mana Syira? Nurul Ain'ni, jawab. Katakanlah you were appointed an estate agent to sell a vacant land, agriculture land, but with development potential. And you have this prospective buyer who came back to you and ask you, what can I develop on property? So you nak jawab apa? Orang tu tanya, apa yang boleh buat development property? You nak jawab apa pada dia as an estate agent?
Land tenure, category land use.
Apa dia? Kena tengok zoning dulu apa lagi. Kalau zoning residential, so apa lagi yang you nak bagi information dekat dia? Memang tak cukup 20 minit lah macam gini. Sebab itulah tak cukup 2 jam.
Plot ratio, density.
Plot ratio to residential. I cekik you cua. Residential.
Sorry, commercial. Density.
So kalau density, what are the information that you can inform about density? How do you relay the information on density?
Land size first and the local regulations for density.
Andai lah you. Kalau density, a simple information on density, apa yang nak jawab?
Population.
Bagi satu jawapan lah. Population pula. Contoh density. What are the
1 acre, 600 people. 600 units.
60 persons per acre, 400 persons per acre. Itulah density. Kalau you tanya plot ratio, contoh jawapan plot ratio.
18, 16, 18.
Planning dengan Dr. Zafira pun lupa. 1:8, bukan 18. 1 nisbah 8. 1:8 means apa? Itulah soalan ni yang kita kata. When you say 1:8, 1:8 means? Dikuan jawab. 1:8 means?
1 to 8
You nak cakap 1:8 tadi kan? 18.
Let's say I have a 1 acre of vacant land. So the plot ratio is 1 to 8. That means the buildable area after I deducting out the 10% green space will be
10% green space. Sebab plot ratio tau. Mana ada green space?
Bukan. Plot ratio, if let's say I have 1 acre of vacant land, then my plot ratio is 1 to 8.
Okay, saya bagi a simple one.
Okay.
Let's say you have 10,000. Saya bagi contoh simple saja for your calculation purpose. It's going to be small, but it's for the ease of your calculation. Let's say my land is only 1,000 square meters. 1,000 square meters, right? And the density is given as 1:8. Okay, so at the end of the day, what are the built-up area that I can have in the property which is a 1:8?
Built-up area.
1,000 square meters, saya punya area, I punya tanah.
If built-up area, then it's 60% of the 1,000 square meter.
Why 60%?
The prime area, the 60% punya itu.
Apa itu?
Prime area lah.
Plain area lah, bukan prime area.
Okay, plain area.
Plain area is an area that is a developer area, the building footprint. Why must I allow for the plain area? Plain area is meant for what? Jawablah.
For high rise Takut eh, macam
Clean area is the building can the area that the building can be constructed.
Buildable
Yeah.
area.
Buildable area. Plain area is not buildable. Okay. You allow for the plain area for kata 30%. Plain area is the circulation. Yang ada dekat tinggal tu is the building footprint. Building footprint is the build out area that you can develop. So you katakanlah you allow 30%. Tadi 1,000 square meters. Allow 30% means you can develop how big? Berapa? Kata dia 1,000. Susan, boleh kira 1,000 square meters. You allow building footprint you plain area for 30%. Means your build up area now is berapa?
7,000.
7,000. 7,000. Saya punya tanah saya 7,000 saja. Macam mana you 7,000?
300.
300.
Tolak 300, tinggal 700. Macam mana nak buat TPC macam gini? 20 minit pun tak habis. Baru property law, belum property tax.
feel je.
So tinggal 700 square meters. 700 square meters, you tadi 1:8 kan? Apply lah. So berapa luas bangunan yang you boleh bina? 700 kali 1:8 means berapa total build out area?
5,600.
7 kali 8 saja. 5,600 square meters. Is it inclusive of the car park or is it exclusive of the car park?
Exclusive.
Exclusive. Okay, 5,600 square feet. Kalau building footprint dia tadi 700. Berapa tadi? 700 square feet. Kalau kali 8, 5,600. So berapa tingkat bangunan you?
8.
8 story. 8 story, kalau nak buat bangunan car park 2 story boleh tak?
Yes.
Boleh?
Yes. Car park is not inclusive in the plot ratio.
Boleh pun jawab. So I can move to other question. Kalau tidak, tak move lah. Itulah salah satu daripada contoh property law punya question. Selain daripada kita tanya you what are the stamp duties, what are the components dalam national land code tadi, property taxation also involve the RPGT. Now we have a RPGT, kita ada stamp duty. And principles and techniques are more on the practical side. The Estate Agent Act rules and standard, kita akan tanya soalan yang paling senang. What is estate agency practice? Jawab, what is estate agency practice? Dalam Estate Agency Act rules and standard. Siapa nak jawab?
Sorry,
Ada orang nak
again.
Okay, minta.
The question.
What is estate agency practice? Kita dah buat dah hari tu, dah belajar dah. Apa dia estate agency practice Miniao? Tengok balik pada standard. The answer is here. Estate agency practice is you hold out yourself for sale, disposal, purchase, but you bear in mind any interest therein. Kita ada banyak sekarang. Not only sale or disposal of land and building is also included of any interest, purchase sama juga, leasing pun sama juga. The word any interest therein is always there. And making note of the availability of the land and building and interest as above, making note is more on the marketing side. And in respect of tenancy administration, these are the job. And you do all this, don't forget, you just don't buat sale saja, don't buat purchase saja. You do all this for commission, for fee, reward, or other consideration. Dia ada word kat situ, fee, commission, reward, or other consideration. So let's say, saya tanya tadi, siapa nak jawab tadi? Miniao, Susan. Let's say you were appointed by your brother. Your brother ada 3-story of shop house, row of 3-story shop house, and he is a proton car dealer. So dia kata, he ask you to jual. Susan, I'm asking you,
Yeah.
Okay, so your brother appoint you to be an estate agent for his 5 units of 3-story shop house to sell. And he is a proton car dealer. He asked you to sell and he said, in return, I'm not going to pay you from the money that I receive. I want to give you a Proton X70. Are you considered as doing an estate agency if you accept the job?
I think yes, because it is a form of reward. the car is a form of reward.
Yes, correct. Car is a form of reward or other consideration. Dekat situ. So those are the question yang kita akan tanya dalam TPC. Boleh? Dah dekat pukul 12.
Doctor, what is topical matters?
Oh ya tak, habis lagi satu. Topical matters is the current issues. Let's say kita ada home ownership campaign. Habis bila?
Today.
Next year.
Today lah, belum ada tambah lagi. Today, 31st May 2020. Itu dia dah extend itu. Dia tak tambah lagi. Belum lagi ada announcement. So with that home ownership campaign, what are the benefits that can be enjoyed by the buyer?
Free stamp duty.
Stamp duty, free stamp duty. Ada dia punya ceiling tak? How much is the property that you can claim for the home ownership campaign?
500K.
500K. Kalau you jual 550K, can he get the free stamp duty?
The residue 50K cannot.
Tak boleh. So 500 saja. Itulah contoh topical matters. Is the current issues. Boleh? Right? Okay. So the other question is more on what need to be observed in practice. Kita akan tanya. Let's say you have your registered estate agent. Where can you have your office? You need to have an office kan? Or
Yes.
can you practice from your house?
Cannot. Must have
Cannot.
an official address
Must have an official address. Official address means where is the location of your office?
at the commercial area and legally allowable by the local authority.
Yes, correct. Go back to the standard. Kalau semua candidate jawab macam Lik Guan macam gini, so we can finish in 20 minutes. Kalau you boleh jawab soal, saya suka bagi statement. If you are not able to answer the first 5 questions in a row, I will stop that part and move to other part. Nangislah candidate kan. Tapi saya takkan buang masa, so I can finish within 20 minutes. Kalau you boleh jawab within 20 minutes, I ask you 5 in a row, I can conclude already you are able to answer the question. So kita tak tanya further. Kalau tidak, kita akan tanya further macam saya prop tadi. About the plot ratio, density, itu soalan-soalan yang kita biasa tanya. Okay, so you need to observe all this, the proper office, the signboard, the client's account. Do you need to have a client's account for all your practice in the estate agency? Business, do you need to have a client's account? Is it a must to have a client's account?
Yes.
Is it a must? Does the standard say it's a must? Standard cakap client's account, is it a must?
Ada. Standard ada cakap.
Standard ada cakap. Standard berapa untuk estate untuk client's account?
Standard 9. 35 hash. Yeah.
Okay. Is it a must? Ada? It is mandatory that there should be standards dealing with the estate agent's accounts and the handling of clients' money. So the purpose of client's account is to ensure that money entrusted to registered person are properly recorded. So in a way, the statement 9.2.1, estate agents shall keep at least one client's account, right? So if you have more than one client, do you need to have many accounts? What are client's account? Kita akan tanya, what is client's account? Do you need to have many accounts if you have many clients?
Not necessary.
Not necessary. You only have 10. Sekejap. Dah kontak kat jam je. Dekat Pro 2 dah confirm nak buat pukul 10 dah. Dah cancel. Okay, dah go. Okay, go. Okay. So those are the contoh soalan client's account. You don't need many clients account because you can have one client's account and you can have a list of clients in the same client's account. So what can be withdraw from the client's account, go back, kena baca balik kalau untuk TPC. Right? So estate agency appointment, on the rent punya appointment, kita ada contract of service, contract for service. You must be familiar because you are going to be a real estate agent and you will have rent working under you. How many rent can you appoint? Last question. 12. Berapa rent you boleh appoint, Chua?
30 up to 50 for upon request.
30 up to 50 upon request. Big Guan,
Yeah.
how many rank can you appoint?
50.
Guan kata 30 up to 50. Or is it 50 straight away?
50.
50. Cuai, cekik-cekik you. Pergi baca balik standard baru punya. Itu yang lama punya. Suka hati je jawab yang lama tu. Buat apa? Now you don't need the approval. You can straight away appoint 50 rank. Baca yang lama. Okay. Last but not least is the conclusion. We have gone through all these. Take note on the TPC interview. We have gone through a bit on what are the contoh-contoh soalan that you can be asked during the TPC interview. From my perspective as a former panel and as a former chairman of the TPC committee. Right, so the panel can ask any question, but it's more or less tak lari daripada apa yang ada dekat dalam slide Corporate Office on the Estate Agency Standard Rules and the Acts. Okay, ada soalan? We're going to stop here. It's already 12 o'clock. Ada soalan?
Yes, Doctor, I got one question.
Yes, Minyao.
So as we know that after we become a registered valuer, we can practice as a registered estate agent and registered property manager, right?
Yes, correct.
Is there any act or rules that prescribe this statement? Because I can't find it.
The registered valuer.
Yes.
Comes together. Yes. It's not provided in the act, but is by, I don't know where.
Stipulated in the official website of the board, is it?
Yes, is by the, I think by the agreement that it was sent earlier during during when we have come up with the act that we have agreed. When 1981, we have agreed that with the RV, you can practice, you can have two more licenses. Those days we only have two license estate agent. But it's effective from 2018, you are given property management license too. The reason is because as a registered valuer, you have knowledge on estate agency practice and also as a property manager.
Okay.
But if you only do diploma level, you don't have that knowledge to be a valuer, you don't have that knowledge to be a property manager. Because of that program covers as a valuer, diploma, for example, bachelor in real estate, it is sufficient for you to practice as an estate agent and also property manager in addition to the valuer.
Okay.
For the coming degree, there may be just degree who are only who will be given only to practice as a property manager.
Okay.
So not all, only registered valuer by virtue of the knowledge that you have obtained during your study period, you are eligible to submit for your estate agents and also the property managers, provided during your period of training, you have that area three areas. That's why kita letak 3 areas tadi. Considering those from the government servant, you have 3 out of 8, but the 3 out of 8, they don't have estate agency, they don't have property management, but they are given also the license as EA and PM mainly because of their degree. Itu saja alasan dia.
Okay. So if like this, I only need to, once I graduate, I only need to directly apply for PV and then for DPC, then if I pass, then I can have 3 licenses.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But make sure masa you area of experience, you cover all the 3 sufficient area too.
Noted. So I don't need to be PEA or PPM.
You can have the PEA because of the PEA you can practice. Ada beza dia dekat situ. If you don't have the PEA number, you tak boleh practice. You ada PV saja. So you tak boleh collect duit. You tak boleh introduce buyer.
So masuk
okay.
So masuk kita kena register for PV and PM, PEA and PM.
Normally they will register for PV saja. But then you don't have the PEA number. So you tak boleh nak introduce yourself when you introduce a client, you nak introduce apa nombor you tak ada PEA. So kalau you nak buat estate agency yang want to collect money, then you still have to, it's good for you to have the PEA walaupun you PE. Because at the level of PV, you tak ada PEA then tak boleh. Because at the level of RV also, like for example, your Professor Anwar has not renewed his REA because he is qualified. But dia tak submit untuk REA pun. He has the number but he never renew because he said he don't practice. Like my case, I even though I don't practice, but I renew my REA every year. So I have to pay for the REA every year, even though I tak practice. But like Professor Anwar, he tak submit. So eventually when he want to practice nanti, he has to pay all those outdated nanti. Okay?
Okay. And Doctor, actually I found out something interesting is about the registration fee for the TPC. So according to the rules and guideline, he said that for registration for the TPC is 50 ringgit. But actually inside the rules, the fifth schedule mentioned that the fee is actually 200. So
yes, dia ada processing fee tu, $50 tu processing fee.
Tapi TPC dia tulis registration bukan cakap processing fee
Cuba tengok kat atas tu, itu dalam jadual 5 kan?
Jadual 5 dalam rules punya cakap 200 for the registration for the TPC.
Yes,
and then dalam rules and guideline dia cakap registration fee for the TPC is 50 ringgit.
Nanti you tengok page berapa tu? Can you give me the page?
The fifth schedule is 169.
The third schedule. Dalam third schedule, you tengok fifth schedule. Third schedule. Fifth schedule mana ada? Fifth schedule untuk examination, third schedule untuk fee.
Nah itu examination punya.
Ya, examination lah you kena tengok.
Itu 166, the test of professional competence, part 2.
Okay, part 2.
Part 2, part A.
Part 2, registration fee. Kalau you tengok probationary value, registration fee 100 ini untuk jadi PEA dengan PV. 100. Okay. And then you renew every year, you bayar 50-50. TPC lain
Ya, TPC lain. TPC ada tunjuk teka itu 166.
Betul, TPC memang lain.
Tapi kerana sekarang dalam rules yang cakap bagi registration for the TPC tak sama dengan rules and guideline punya.
Macam mana, apa yang tak sama, tak faham?
Total you cuba buka itu.
Part 2 untuk fee schedule, you ada TPC, fees.
Ya, part 2.
Examination. Part 2 untuk examination. So you ada TPC, registration for TPC valuer 200, estate agent 200.
Yes.
TP for examination, itu registration for TPC. And then processing for assessment for TPC, assessment 200. Yes. You register, you bayar 200. Then you process for the assessment because you register, and then bila you will call untuk processing fee, you bayar 200. Reassessment, you bayar 200 kalau semua tak pass. Kalau you bayar practical task saja, 100 per area. Itu 200 semua. Kalau you bayar professional interview saja, your practical task tak payah, you bayar 100. 100 bukan per area 100 kita kira broad macam tu.
Ya, kerana masalah ni sekarang dalam itu rules and guideline for to TPC for the valuers yang kuning itu punya. Okay, dia paragraph 12 dia ada cakap fees mah.
Paragraph 12 fees, okay, registration. Ini yang lama, you tengok tahun bila ni?
Lama punya meh? Kuning
TPC yang ni sangat lama. TPC yang ni tahun 2007 tu. $50. Registration for TPC 50, application for exemption 100, application for TPC 200 ni. Oh, you tengok yang inilah. Okay.
Ini yang sama dengan rules.
Tak boleh, you kena tengok rules.
Oh, okay. So kita kena bayar 200 lah.
Ya, bayar 200. Registration for TPC bukan RM50.
Okay.
Processing fee. Processing fee dia RM50. I think I'm referring to dia RM50 ini is registration for TPC, the processing fee dalam part 2, you ada 200 kat atas tu kan, ada 50-50 tu kan, yang itulah.
Ya, betul.
Tapi yang 200 untuk registration for TPC, processing for assessment tu bukan. Yang registration for TPC as per the page sheet dalam buku kuning untuk registration of TPC tadi, RM50 tu sama macam dalam part 2 item number 1 processing fee. Sama lah tu, RM50.
Okay.
Rasanya dia tak lari lah, dia sama saja ni. Sebabnya kita masih pakai rules yang lama yang tak pindah lagi. Kita dah naikkan harga ya, tapi belum boleh naik harga sebab itu belum lulus. Okay. I think I'm going to stop here, dah lebih waktu dah ni. Puan Dr. Zafira dah cari mana tak berhenti lagi. Okay.
Okay, thanks,
See you next week on Tuesday, since Monday is a holiday. So we're going to go through another one on the TPC for PM, which is not much. I cannot share so much because we have yet to have any candidates for the PM only. Right, so I will share the PowerPoints nanti pagi-pagi pada Dr. Zah, but you can have it from the recording. Right, so Dr. Zafira, I think tak payah tunggu Dr. Zafira, I can just exit. So thank you so much. I will see you next week.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.